Hello again, everybody. We are back with our prep preview video, and Assistant Sports Editor Joe Deacon. And joining me this week is Jim Benson, filling in for vacationing Randy Kindred. He's got special things going on this week.
I thought we were going to talk about a golf show when you told me it was football about 5 seconds ago.
Yeah,
but
I
I'm
hope
ready.
you're prepared.
I'm ready. I'm okay.
All right,
okay.
if you're sure.
Well,
we'll get it going first. We're going to look at all the games on tap for Week 5 in high school football. It's Week 5, the midway point, and it seems to go fast every year, doesn't it?
It's hard to believe. It's the halfway point of the season. It's just we're just doing our season previews a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
It seemed like.
Anyway, maybe time flies because we're getting older.
That could be. That could be.
So the first game we're going to look at tonight is Central Catholic is going to go up to Pontiac. The Saints are on a 3-game winning streak and starting to make some noise in the Corn Belt.
Yeah, and they got a really good combination. Max Mays and Bobby Brady just seem like they're kind of going off. What do they have, like 9 touchdown passes?
Mm-hmm.
Really a great combination. The Saints are always a team that once they kind of, get into the season and figure out what they can really do well, they always seem to kind of play well and all that, and it just kind of seems like it's happening again this year.
Yeah, and Max Mays also kind of spread it out. He's got Andrew Einck is another receiver he's been targeting, and Simon Davis had a couple of touchdown runs for them in their win last week. They seem to be, like you said, kind of getting it rolling now, and then once they get the momentum going, they're hard to stop.
And Pontiac's struggling a little bit. They're 1-3 and all that. This is always a big rivalry game, though. I've covered a couple of them. It's just always, there's something about a Central Pontiac game that kind of gets both teams up. So I expect Pontiac to give them a good tussle.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, I believe it's their homecoming game this week up in Pontiac,
Yeah.
And they're stinging a little bit. They had a 1-point loss, Muhammad, last week. Missed an extra point that would have tied it, and so they need to get some things going. Their offense has kind of been sputtering a little bit. They've only scored over 20 points one time, and that was their win.
This is the time of the season where, boy, you don't want to get that 4th loss because then you're playing playoff week football every week.
Exactly. Another team we're going to look at now is Bloomington. Nice win for them last week. They've got the running back tandem of Kerry Lockhart and Dominique Cradell has really been doing well for Coach Joe Walters.
Yeah, I haven't seen him all year, so I'm really anxious to kind of see him, see what the new coach has done. I saw him last year when he was over in Peoria when they played West at Dozier Park, and they were an exciting team over there. So I'm kind of anxious to see what they have, and especially against Peoria High. I covered their opener, the basketball game, 70-63 over Normal West, and I tell you what, Peoria High the play gets over and they're running another play in 5 seconds. There's hurry-up offense, and this is like ultra hurry-up offense. You really got to be ready to play them, and they have a lot of great Division I athletes on their team. This is going to be a tough game for Bloomington.
Yeah, you talk about, Pontiac, or Peoria comes in there ranked number 1 in 5A, and that Geno Hess, I believe, is the stud running back who's just been fantastic.
Yes.
It's going to be a challenge for BHS, but the way their offense has been rolling, they might be able to hang with them for a while.
It might be another 70-63 game. I might be there till 11 o'clock again.
Yeah, indeed. Still in the Big 12 now, Normal Community coming off the win over Normal West. They bounced back after the loss. They're going on the road. They're going to visit Peoria Richwoods. Normal Community moved up to number 8 in the 7A poll, and then after the stumble, it looks like they're starting to get going again.
And I had that game last week, Normal against Normal West, and Normal Community got hit in the mouth right away with a touchdown West on their first play of the game. We'll talk about that a little bit later.
Mm-hmm.
But then they just came and they just rolled. Price is really a good quarterback. He can run, he can throw. They got a lot of weapons. I would be really surprised if they stumbled the rest of the season.
Talk about a lot of those weapons, like you said. Varshawn Dixon with 3 types of scores for you in that game. That was
exactly.
And he's really running well. And then Dakota Cremines is as Price's top target. They'll hit you quick.
Oh man, yeah, they're good. It'll be it's good to get on the road though, and kind of you got to win road games too and all that. You just can't always win at home, and so this could be a good test for the Ironmen.
Yeah, Richwoods is 1-3, so they're struggling a little bit. I think they started off with 3 losses, kind of 3 bad losses, and they did bounce back against a kind of inferior opponent. But they're going to try and build some momentum off of that.
Exactly.
So the last Big 12 game we'll look at tonight is Normal West. Obviously, they've got a potent offense, but they just can't seem to slow anybody down. It doesn't get easier against Danville.
I tell you though, I saw Normal West in the opener against Peoria, and then I saw them last week against Normal Community, and the 2 ranked teams obviously playing. But their defense, I thought, had improved from week 1 to week 4. So it's getting slowly better. So I think if they kind of just keep progressing and all that, they've had just such a tough schedule, and obviously they got another one here Friday night. But I think they're getting better and all that. And I'll tell you, Genesis Forrest, he is the most electrifying player I've seen all year. Mm-hmm. He's only about 155 pounds, but boy, he can make people miss. He is very electrifying.
Was it 260-plus yard touchdown runs in that game?
Yeah, he had a 65 on the opening play of the game, which I had talked about earlier, and then he had a 61-yarder later on. So he's an exciting player to watch, and he's a guy who can win games for you just by himself almost.
Right, and then also Peyton Dillingham with the area passing leader. I mean, they've got so many offensive weapons. They keep running, like you said, they need that defense to solid up, and the schedule, like you said, hasn't been in their favor.
No, it hasn't.
Going on the road for another ranked opponent in Danville, which is 6th in 6A, and it's obviously a long road trip too. So
yeah,
that'll
definitely be a tough game.
Yeah. And the Corn Belt now, University High and Prairie Central, both of those teams are really trying to get back on track. U High had a non-conference game last week up at Quincy Notre Dame, a tough opponent.
Right.
Only scored 1 touchdown there. And Prairie Central they've scuffled a bit too.
Right, and both of these teams are 1-3, and I mean, you talk about a must-win for both teams. This is a must-win. And I saw U High 2 weeks ago, I believe it was, and they have some weapons. They're not too bad. They've also played a tough schedule. Like you said, Quincy Notre Dame, they've lost to Central Catholic. So they've had kind of a tough schedule here. I think it eases up for them a little bit. I think if they can just get a little momentum going, I think they're going to be okay.
Mm-hmm. Prairie Central, they're actually getting a pretty decent season out of quarterback Billy Prince. He's got 234 rushing yards and 619 passing yards with 6 touchdowns. So hopefully they'll be able to, start getting that offense in gear more as the Corn Belt season goes on.
Like I say, a must game there for both teams.
Yeah. The game of the week in the heart of Illinois, it's cross-division week, so again, non-conference games, but it's GCMS and Eureka. That's the schedule.
And GCMS has been one of the heavyweights of the HOIC the last couple of years. Coach Allen, I mean, he just does a fantastic job there. Now Eureka comes in. I mean, they've been playing in the Corn Belt, and all of a sudden they're in the HOIC. A little better position for them, better conference to be in, and they're 3-1. This is going to be a bellwether game for them, just to see where they really stack up right now. But they've had a great season so far. They win this game, and boy, they just need one more win for the playoffs.
Yeah, the Hornets, a big game last week. They got Wyatt Myers had 5 touchdown runs. 4 of them were under 10 yards, and one big one. But Eureka's kind of rolling. They're trying to stay in there with it's obviously the HOIC large division has 2 heavyweight teams in Tri-Valley and DMAC, so they want to keep pace.
GCMS is a really good defense, so they shut out Leroy last week. So this would be a good test for Eureka's offense. See what they really are made of.
Yeah, GCMS is 2-0 in their conference games and the league games, and both wins were by shutout. So that defense is going to be tough. So, but like I said, we mentioned DMAC and Tri-Valley, those 2 powerhouse teams, both going on the road this week in the cross divisions. DMAC going to Fisher, and Tri-Valley going to Hayworth. It looks like they're kind of building up to that Week 9 meeting.
Yeah, it's a collision course to that game. That'll be the game of the year, really.
Another team I wanted to mention just briefly and get your thought on is your old Dwight Trojans.
That's my alma mater. Dwight is 3-1. When I went up to the preseason preview, the coach didn't really know they had a lot of young guys, and they've obviously come through so far. They play Watsika this week. I think Watsika's 3-1.
Yeah, I believe that's correct.
That is going to be a very good test for Dwight, and let's see where they're at. And if they get a win, they're just 1 game away from the playoffs.
Yeah, 1 game away. And so after this week, now we head into the final downturn of the season, the final 4 games, and it's going to be a push to the playoffs from there. Yeah. So be sure to check out all our coverage Friday night on Pantagraph.com and in your Saturday morning Pantagraph section. Thanks a lot. Have a good night.